So now I just got through finished watching again. I did not pay for this, although I did pay money to see in the theater. I did see this in the theater to get a good experience for it. But someone bought me this for me. A family member did, because I know I'm a fan of the Power Rangers. So it was nice. So I forgot about the film I saw about a few months ago in March. So I just had to keep it refresh in my mind. It was a good reason why I forgot about this film. This is easily as much as like either one of the worst. It's easily one of the worst films I've seen this year. I don't know. It's definitely within my top 5. Maybe I'll put it in my top 3. I think it's definitely in my top 3 for sure. Because this is coming from a guy who grew up watching the Power Rangers show. I loved watching Power Rangers. In fact, one second here. Because I have it down here. I'm just holding this one because I know I have the other stuff though. But I grew up. It was one of my favorite shows I grew up watching as a kid. I still enjoy the show today. And like probably I mentioned, you see on top of my shelf over there, I got action figures of the monsters from the first show and a couple from the second season as well. I enjoy those. They're cool, creative, to me at least, creative monsters, villains, and fun to watch. I love the show growing up. It was one of my favorite shows I watched as a kid. You know, just getting really excited to watch it, and I still do to this day. And after season 3, I started with Zeo, then Turbo. I started watching, and I never watched any of the new shows. Screw those shows. To me, the original Power Rangers were always the best ones. And I'm sure a lot of people would agree with that too. The original Power Rangers are always the best. So, yeah. And also, here we go. And this was a childhood film for me as well. Despite being very campy, and people say cheesy, but I had fun watching this growing up as well. I had fun with it. And I reviewed this film a while back, so you know why. And I just this is what this film has done to me. It makes my freaking allergies start up again. Because like with Turbo, I'm allergic to bullshit like this. That's why I'm allergic to bullshit with this stuff right here. And as I was saying, I just reviewed Turbo. That was just god awful. Even some of the original cast members couldn't help, like Jason David Frank, Austin St. John, and Amy Jo Johnson couldn't save that film. Because I thought it was boring with an hour of no Rangers, but that's not that. I just reviewed it, so you can check that out. It's Turbo. God. Now, with this, when I heard they were going to do a new Power Rangers film, and when I first heard from day one, when they announced they're going to make a new Power Rangers movie, I honestly got excited for it. Because as a huge fan of the show growing up as a kid, a childhood show, I honestly was excited. And as the time moved on, as the progress and development of the film go, with the cast, who's going to be the Rangers, and when they announced that Rita was going to be in it, who's going to play Rita, and a bunch of these. When I heard the first casting of these new kids here, teenagers, I was like, And then when I found that Elizabeth Banks was announced that Elizabeth Banks was gonna play Rita, I was like, okay. And when I first saw the look of Rita, I was like very skeptical on that. And when I first saw the trailer, I did a video to give my thoughts on it. It was a rant on that trailer. So, and when I watched this, and I saw this in the theater, and it made me want to cry. It took me a lot to hold back the tears to this. And then someone got me this on DVD, so I had to rewatch it again to refresh my mind before I forget about it again. Oh my god. This is why this is easily in my top 3 worst films of this year, 2017. I don't know what's worse. For the ones that I'll probably say this is worse. This is probably one of the worst. I'll just go out and say it. I'll probably say this is worse than Wonder Woman. Because there was a couple things that I probably said about Wonder Woman that I thought I liked, but I'll say this is a lot worse because this is for me in retrospect, because I'm being a fan of the Power Rangers for years, so that's saying a lot. So yeah, I'll probably say this is a lot worse. And first off, I find this funny right here on the top of the DVD right here by the Nocturnal, which I call absolute BS on this. The first great blockbuster of the year, really? Because this as I look at the numbers, do they look at the numbers of this film? This film bombed. You know, financially it was a bomb. Because the film, yeah, it is also the first Power Rangers film that has a huge budget. It was a budget of $100 million. Domestically, it made $85 million. Not good numbers. And foreign-wise, like 54 million. Worldwide total, 140 million. That's not good numbers. This was supposed to be like, this is like, you know, the worldwide, you know, based on the worldwide phenomenon, it was supposed to be a huge hit. And when I saw the final numbers of this is not a huge hit. It underperformed the expectations that people thought it would be. It was going to be a huge hit. Because, for another point, by Time Out in the back here, nostalgia has never felt so more phenomenal. Yeah, because that's probably the reason why, for the nostalgia, because of the nostalgia of the thing, of the show. Nostalgia can only go so far. If the film delivers, then it would have been a huge hit, though. But apparently, this film didn't deliver, and that's why the film flopped. And they were gonna make a franchise for this. They plan on sequels, and now people are now being skeptical of if the sequel is ever going to get made due to the poor performance of this film. Because I know they said that for a sequel they want to bring in Lord Zed. If they do a sequel, then good luck, because if they do, look at the numbers how this film performed. I'm not sure how that film's going to do if they do make a sequel. God, this film was like Turbo. This is so hard for me to watch. Just sitting here, you know, so you don't see my room, my TV like this. It's hard for me to sit through like this and just. That's what I was doing for the whole time. And now, because due to my allergies to bullshit, my nose start running now. God dang. It's directed by Dean Isranelite. He did a film back in I think it was 2012. He did a film called Project Alamac. It was a found footage film where these teens they can travel to the past and they screw things up and they have to change, they altered some stuff. I've not seen that film though, but yeah, so that guy directed that film and it didn't make that, it was not a huge hit at all, so. And so many huge issues with this film. First of all, the biggest thing is for me is that they tried so hard to be such a. First of all, it's almost a 2-hour film, and for by the time it came, for an hour and 30-minute mark, no Rangers in the film, because like Turbo was like over an hour before they come Power Rangers. And that was an hour 38 minute, an hour and 30 some minute movie. But the lifetime of that film is like the amount of time before they come to the actual Power Rangers. Because they said to try to do this as a teen drama, so much of a teen drama. They try to make it so serious, a serious superhero Power Rangers film, very seriously. It just drags on. It gets boring. Try to develop the characters of each of these guys, and it sucked that it tries to like be so serious, like one of the super, like the Marvel or DC. Well, Marvel is serious, but handle its tone better. Well, with DC, they tried to be very serious as well, but still, they try to do the same thing with this Power Rangers film. And they try to throw in comedic stuff too, which just feels like it throws that serious tone out of place. And even the director, he made a statement that the reason why the film didn't do that well because it was rated PG-13. Well, that part I can understand, but also the thing is, though, maybe because also the film didn't do that well because people saw how awful it was, and nobody didn't want to see it after the opening weekend. That's why the film kept declining. But yeah, but PG-13 because it just wanted to, like I said, take itself so seriously. It just misses everything about what was fun about this show. This show was fun. It was supposed to be fun, campy. Yes, I know. You keep using the word campy, but it had a unique charm to the show. And the characters are much more developed. You know, they didn't take all this drag out time to know about each other. Well, we know about instantly about these characters already, and they were already friends, and so much more. And just misses completely everything about what made that show so much fun for kids. And that's what it was. It's a kids' film. Kids, like, for the kids who were like my age when I first started watching the show as a kid. I was maybe, 5, 6? But this tried to be so much of a serious superhero film for teens, but for adults as well. But forget, it's for kids too. People who are like kids like my age expect to go see a film like this, completely two different tones. So, so the directing by Dean Israelite, it's, I mean, may look like it's directed well, but I could see it's how the way the film looks, and the screenplay is a huge problem for this film by John Gattens. And I forgot John Gattens. I looked up some what other stuff he's done. He's done some. So he's mostly as a writer. Like early in this film, he helped write or do the story for Kong Skull Island, which I really did enjoy. So when I look at this, we did it for this film and for Kong Skull Island, it's like night and day. I mean, he just really shot himself in the foot with this film, but Kong Skull Island was much better. The writing or story, whatever, Kong Skull Island was much better than this, so he really shot himself in the foot for this. And by the way, with John Gattens, he was an actor too, and I couldn't believe what film, the only film I saw the acting one. So the writer of this film, John Gattens, there's his name right there. You right under my finger. as an actor, he's the guy who played the lead guy in Leprechaun 3 as that main character, Scott. You know, he fell in love with the magician's assistant, and he becomes like the leprechaun because the leprechaun's blood got into his bloodstream. He starts becoming a leprechaun himself. That guy, starred Leprechaun 3, is a writer for Power Rangers and Kong Skull Island. I was like, really? The guy who acted in Leprechaun 3 helped write this film? I was like, wow. So yeah. And the music by Bryan Taylor isn't... It's not much. It's not much. The scores is pretty overall pretty much to me in one ear out the other. The actors who plays the Rangers themselves. So you got Dacre Montgomery who plays Jason, Naomi Scott who plays Kimberly, R.J. Cyler as Billy, Becky G as Trini, and Ludi Lynn as Zach. And to me, out of all of them, best acting wise to me was the guy who played Billy, R.J. Cyler. Out of all of them, to me, he seemed like the most likable guy out of all of them. And then I didn't care for pretty much the rest of them. They're basically like cliched, you know. Like, of course, with the guy who plays Jason, of course, like he was the star quarterback, and he does something stupid, and now his career is now gone. Now that's the cliche of that, you know, the typical jock who ruined himself, and that's it. And Kimberly, who's in this, you know, this little girl group, and they don't like her because she did some stuff, and now she's out of it, and now she cuts her hair. So yeah, so basically she was in a group, you know, trying to be like them, but no. And when we just do like Zach and Trini, we see them first in the mountains, and Zach, he's looking through binoculars, like looking where we're at Trini. So he's a peeping Tom now. But the guy who plays Billy, I thought he was the most likable out of all of them. You know, he's in detention because he said he blew up his lunchbox because he's doing experiments, and you know he's organizing his colored pencils. And I'll get into that character, but for how this film goes, it opens up with the age of the dinosaurs, and Zordon, he was a Red Ranger, and Zordon played by Bryan Cranston, and Zordon being a Red Ranger, and it's around the age of the dinosaurs, and there's an alien who is the Yellow Ranger. It doesn't say a word. He's like, And Zord, he gets all the power coins, and another thing, Rita, she was a Power Ranger. She was the Green Ranger. You know, she's wanted more power, and she wants to destroy the world, and Bryan Cranston and Zordon speaking in their alien language, and he wants to he buries the power coins he lays on top of them first, and he calls Alpha to send the meteor down to destroy everything. So yeah, Zordon, he caused the dinosaurs' extinction because he called Alpha to send the meteor to kill all the dinosaurs. Well, also to stop Rita as well. So yeah. So Zordon, he caused the dinosaurs' extinction. Right. And Bryan Cranston. Okay, that's one other thing I liked about the film was Bryan Cranston, because I like him as an actor. He was one of the positives thing for me, though. But also, one thing about the character they did with the character of Zordon, which I'll get to as that goes on, though. But overall, I liked Bryan Cranston. He was one of the things when I first announced he was gonna when he first announced he was gonna play Zordon. I was like, okay, cool, Bryan Cranston. And I saw the trailer. Saw him in the trailer. It looks like he looks like he'll do good as Zordon. In the film, performance-wise, yeah, he did good. But there was also something about the character watch I'll have to say though. But still, and then it comes to the present time. And then it comes with Jason and this guy. They steal. It was supposed to be like a a school prank with this cow or bull, because because also, yeah, right there for an opening of the film, because they get a joke where the friend's like, oh, I milked her, and the guy and Jason's like, it's a he. You see one udder? Yeah, so you get like a lame udder cow bull joke for that. It was like, okay. And then they drive in, then all of a sudden he's chased by the police, and then he crashes the car. And then another thing, that's the opening, but when it shows the title, as the guy is crashing, it cuts to black and it shows down here on your right hand corner, right here, and then he crashes, it cuts to black and it says Power Rangers. Guys, I forgot they're making this a very serious Power Rangers film, but it's not like the opening of the show to this, go, go, Power Rangers, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Which I always, that's one of the most memorable themes I've ever heard of in my life. I always love the theme by, what was it, Ron Weiserman. But no, I like how the opening title of this shows up when the show starts. But for this, it's supposed to be a very serious film, for Power Rangers film. Crashes and it shows Power Rangers right there. I mean, it doesn't show in the middle. No, it has to be right in the corner right there. It's Power Rangers. And then he gets his attention with Billy. Then Kimberly is there, which Zach and Trina are not there. But and then with Billy, he's organizing his color pencils. He's getting bullied by this guy, and Jason defends him, and he basically just bitch slaps the bully. And okay, that's another issue. Yeah, you have this one bully, and yet they don't bother to put in Bulk and Skull. Because if anyone remembers the show, like I do, Bulk and Skull, they're clumsy, they're goofy, they're supposed to be they're comic reliefs. They do a lot of pratfalls, and you get those noisy, those clownish sound effects, and their theme too. Dun 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 dun. Which was funny for their theme for that as well. Well, they decided, I guess they decided not to add those in there because it would throw off their tone for the film by not adding those there. But still, you could have added those characters in, even if you're still going to be a serious one. Still add the characters in because they're part of what they're the bullies of the show for the kids, the teenagers. Which I don't know why I haven't asked myself when I asked my brother, why didn't they add Bulk and Skull in there? Why? Because they're too goofy and over the top characters. That's what they are. So that's why I don't add them in there. Because it's supposed to be a very serious Power Rangers movie. So yeah, and they go. The Billy asks Jason to go with him to go to this mine because he has something with his father. Well, because first of all, he's under house arrest, so he helps him with the house arrest thing on his ankle. And funny, when he's here in the background of his house, you hear George Strait, All My Exes Live in Texas playing. Yeah. So they go up there, and he sets some things up, and that's where you see introduced with Trini, and then Zach, and they all come together, and he blows up the thing, Billy blows up the wall, and that's where they find the power coins. They find the power coins, and there's some security there, they get chased in their van, and then they get hit by this train. And then they're all totally fine, no injuries, because the power of the coins saved them. And they get superpowers. They have strength, and they can jump high. So they go where they were, and they jump over the scoops, to say the powers are real and all this stuff, and think about the time when they meet with Zordon. This is basically, if I remember, it's like 40 minutes into the movie. That's basically what it is. Like, until they meet Zordon, got the powers, it's basically like about 40 minutes into the movie. That's how it is. So, then they jump down the cliff, there's water, and there's a portal, the water, which I like how the way it is, they like how it is, there's the bottom of the part, which is now turned upside down, it's upright, and it's like a little portal, so they go down through the water, the bottom of the water. Then they find the spaceship, which is, you can say, it's the command center. That's but it's sort on spaceship. And okay, and I like the inside of the look of the spaceship. I do like that. The production set of that, I'll say it looks good. Although, just to be honest, I still prefer to have an actual command center, but it's a spaceship, so. And they meet Alpha, voiced by Bill Hader, which I said this when I reacted to the trailer of it. I hated this new design of Alpha. He's supposed to be this robot. This is more a design for Alpha. This is Alpha right there. He's a robot, much more taller. He's much more shorter. And the person who voiced Alpha, much better than what Bill Hader is. I think I thought he was annoying as Alpha, and I hated the design of Alpha as well. But then he brings him to the you can say the command center now, and Zordon appears. Bryan Cranston his face. He's trapped in the Matrix because what he did, and he tells them they're Power Rangers, and they explain the whole thing with Rita and the power coins. And Bryan Cranston, I thought he did a good job performance-wise, because I like Bryan Cranston. And they said, okay, no thank you for us, as they leave, and Jay tells them Jason's the leader, you're the Red Ranger. You know, you need to train them. And then the whole thing with the side things with Rita, played by Elizabeth Banks. Now, that's one of the big issues is Rita herself, played by Elizabeth Banks. It was so awful to watch as Elizabeth Banks as Rita. It was so awful to watch. Both the live action person who plays Rita in this, and even the voice dubbing was much better than Elizabeth Banks. Because, like I said, it was supposed to be campy, but I thought it was the presence wise of the villain was much better than this. She needs to collect gold to build Goldar, and she needs the power of the Zeo crystals to destroy the universe. You know, the source of power to the Power Rangers, the Zeo crystal, and first it's like, you know, it's like an earlier version of like with the new Mummy film, how the female Mummy first it looks all decayed, and now much for being more younger, like her human form right there. Except you don't see her like suck the life out of them. You just see it off screen. And while she's collecting gold, there's the point where she goes into a jewelry shop, and there's this couple, and there's the woman behind the counter. The woman behind the counter doesn't seem like too freaked out how this ragged-looking woman with a golden staff come in. It's like, okay, that's normal. It's like, oh, can I help you? Or you see someone who looks totally off and out of place, just call the police. Which, well, she does when she presses the button, though. But still, I would totally run away, or even call the police. Though, still, the moment that she walked into the store. So she gets all this gold. She eats some of it, and then God, Elizabeth Banks was so. It was just so hard to watch this Rita. It was so hard. It was just like, this is the Rita Repulsa from this show to this. God, it was just so awful. It's god awful to watch, and I was like, oh man. And then it goes further down with the character later. Yeah, Rita Repulsa. Yeah, Repulsa. Yeah, she is repulsive. That's her name is Rita Repulsive. That's what this new Rita is. She's repulsive, bad, god awful. And then what else was I missing? Oh, then so they started with the traders started training, and they show first they can't morph. For some reason they can't. They don't know how to morph because they don't know each other better. So they want to get to know each other so they can morph. Which, well, hey, if you had their more power morphers, it could, the things always carry around their belts. It's Morphin time, and they have them right there. And But no, I guess they had there was a different way to morph in this film. And it's supposed to be like a strong relationship, I guess, friendship, whatever. And they do like some training with some holographic putties, and it's like, oh my god, that's another. Another thing that looks god freaking awful is the putties. The putties in this, they were just basically men in tights with the putty looking mask. Here is this all bunch of piled up rocks. The putties were such god awful look in this film. That's another issue. I'm just trying my heart's hard not to lose it again. Like I did the previous one, I just lost it a little bit. I'm trying so hard not to lose my mind on this because I'm just explaining how these characters that I grew up watching, how it is being represented in this film. So yeah, that's how the look of these putties are, and they're such awful designs. Because people say it looks ridiculous when you see them in spandexes or tight suits, whatever it is nowadays. They look too corny. Because everything has to be like a realistic looking putty, so they're made out of rocks, and well, everything's supposed to be like serious and probably realistic in this film, but it's not. It's a Power Rangers film. It's what pisses me off. It's a Power Rangers film. It just takes everything what a Power Ranger should be: fun and quick fights and some good old Power Rangers kicking ass. And don't think for the entire hour and 30 minutes, there's no Power Rangers. I know it's supposed to be like an origin story, how this whole thing is developed, and especially too long with character development as well. You didn't need much character developing in this show. We already got enough. It's like a little bit was enough. We already know who the characters are. So then the other point where Billy he gets them because first of all they get shown their Zords, right? And Zach he takes the Mastodon out for a spin, which is probably one of the rules. Like he violated one of the rules, like with Zord and Cells. Like he said in this though, but he also mentions the rules in this film, like like don't use your powers for personal gain, or don't enforce until a fight till Rita forces you to, or never review your identity. He violates the rule number 1, don't use it for personal gain, so he goes and takes it out for a spin just for the sake of it, for the fun of it. Isn't that using it for personal gain? So yeah, then he starts fighting with Jason, and Billy, he steps in between them, and then you see him morph. Well, for a brief second. And then it's like, oh, how did you do that? It's like, I don't know. So, and this is the part where Zordon is becoming a bit of a, I would say pretty much almost like an asshole, basically, because he's doing all this, he's basically doing all this so he can, use the power so he can make himself come back. Because he's stuck in the wall, he wants himself to be out of the wall, he wants himself to come back. That's basically what he's using it for, using the Rangers for, is to bring himself back. So next, like, okay, that's kind of making Bryan Cranston Zordon an asshole, basically. And Jason tells him, you know what, your team failed, you're just scared, don't underestimate my team. Doing the leader speech and all that. So, and then they sit around the fire, and this is where we get more character development, telling them about themselves, like with Zach and his sick mom, and with Billy, and then Jason with Rare are about, and Trini about, she's been moving to a new school for very few years, and couldn't, not much of a talker. And plus, they have another dumb joke, is where when she's talking with her parents at the dinner table, she explains, oh, she's a superhero, and then her mom goes, says, pee in this cup. So yeah, you go from the funny, charming look in this film, not film, the TV show, and we go to jokes like "you pee in this cup," a piss joke. I'm tired of seeing piss jokes and fart jokes and shit jokes as well. I'm tired of hearing this kind of humor. Did not need to hear a piss joke in a Power Rangers film. So what else? the Rita visits Trini in her bedroom. Which for some reason doesn't kill her, and yet America has to tell the Rangers, but they still don't know how to morph, so they go in unmorphed, trying to fight her, and they get their asses kicked, and ties them up to give them the location. Where is the Zeo crystal? And Billy tells him where it is because he's been looking into where the Zeo crystal is. And I couldn't believe when he was looking, when he first sees where it is, the building where it's hidden underneath. I was like, oh man, I never seen a much more blunt setup for a product placement ever. You really think that Michael Bay's Transform films have enough product placement in it? No, this is the most blunt for a product placement. It's underneath Krispy Kreme donuts. I was like, and with the way he says it, where is it? It's like, oh, it's under Krispy Kreme. And he's asking, what's Krispy Kreme? Is it a special place? Oh, yeah, Power Rangers film where there's Krispy Kreme. I never seen a much more big product placement for Krispy Kreme. Well, for any product, so yeah. And then she kills Billy. And yet for some reason she doesn't kill all of them. So she's being stupid. She lets them, she has an all tied up opportunity to kill the heroes that will prevent her from winning. No, she kills the one, but she lets the other ones go like an idiot. They bring Billy. He's dead. He's bring him back to Zordon, and I guess their friendship worked. Saying, "Oh, Jason, I would trade places with you, and this and that." And I guess like the power that works. And now the Morphin grid is open, so Zordon has the opportunity to bring himself back, but no, he chooses not to. So instead, he brings Billy back to life. And this is where they all start. This is where the hour and 30-minute mark comes in, and they finally get into become Rangers, and like being very serious. It's Morphin time. I felt no impact when he said the most iconic thing in the show. It's Morphin time. Like, it's Morphin time. I mean, the other Rangers, especially like Austin St. John or Jason David Frank, they say it with a little bit of energy to it. It's Morphin time. Like that. They say with energy and charisma. But no, it's just like, it's Morphin time. I felt no impact. I felt none of that from the show. And the way they morph is dumb and it looks lame. And which like this, how the way they morph is the quick cut of it showing, pterodactyl or mastodon, triceratops, saber-toothed tiger, and tyrannosaurus. That's one thing I liked that was cool about how the way they morph. It was fast and quick, and it didn't take too long. It showed them all of them just moving around like this, and how's the armor's getting on them. It's just, this film was just very slow, and it was just very boring. This is how, even the way they become Rangers, how the way they morph, is like, I felt nothing of that. And I also, when they first showed the first picture of the new suits, I already knew that these suits looked awful. And they do, to me it is. As a fan of the show, yeah, because we can't do it like these, because of today, probably they can't do it like this. No, we had to make them look more realistic, like Iron Man suits. But yeah, I never liked these. From the first picture, I never liked these designs of the suits. Never liked them. And then they're doing the dramatic walk up, and then they get to their Zords, and the Zords. Once again, I did not like the designs of these Zords here. They look like anyone who probably noticed it, probably would say they look like rip off of Transformers, like the Dinobots. I will say this: the Dinobots in Age of Extinction looked like Grimlock or Slug or the other one, the Spinosaurus or Pteranodon, the two-headed one. They look better designed than these Dinozords. At least to me, Grimlock is a cool-looking Dinobot design. That's one thing I will say I like about Age of Extinction, Transformers: Age of Extinction. I liked the look and the Dinobots, especially I like Grimlock. So yeah. Yeah, when you compare the Tyrannosaurus Zord, when you compare it to Grimlock and Transformers Age of Extinction, which one looks better? I'll say the Grimlock looked better. So yeah, to get into the Zords, and okay, yeah, another good thing that I liked about when they played the Power Rangers theme from the song from the 1995 movie. You know, go go Power Rangers. Okay, that made me bring a smile to my face when the Zords are running towards Angel Grove, and you have the song from the Power Rangers theme from the 95 film playing. Okay, that brought a smile to my face because yes, a callback to which I was surprised they did the original theme for this though. But okay, the 95 film that brought a smile to my face because I like the sort of the rock and roll type of theme of the film. So yeah, that brought a smile to my face. It was like, no, really, this really was the face when I saw it in the theater. I was like, when they play the theme, go go Power Rangers. I was like, okay, yeah. So yeah, I like that part. I like when they played the theme for the '95 film. That brought a smile to my face. But still, the look of the Zords, and they're running towards town, and then when Rita brings in Goldar, I was like, Goldar's gonna be in this. And the look of Goldar is another god awful look. Goldar, because Goldar, he's actually made out of gold. Yeah, Goldar in the show, he had gold on him though, but he was not made completely out of gold. He had he still had an animal type of face and wings, well, like sort of like feathered wings, and he wasn't made entirely out of gold. It was like more of a suit for him, but still. But he's literally made out of entirely like liquid gold basically. And it was like such a god awful design of Goldar. I hated that Goldar look. Oh, and of course Rita, she even says that kind of thing for in every single episode of the show. Make my monster grow. Yeah, yeah. Even when Elizabeth Banks says it, it's nowhere near as fun a fun tone as the show is. You know, make my monster grow. And then she found where the Zeo crystals are, she's like Krispy Kreme, and you see her in the restaurant eating a freaking Krispy Kreme donut. Oh. Try to make it like a serious Power Ranger film, but you throw in humor like that, it throws the tone off. And so yeah, Goldar is digging for the Zeo crystal while she's eating a donut, and then I keep on laughing because the reading the register, oh, they're at Krispy Kreme. They keep on mentioning Krispy Kreme. I was like, please. I was ready like, please shut up. Stop mentioning about Krispy Kreme. You don't need more mention of this product placement again. So then they fight Goldar. They shoot some guns, and they even include some putties. I was there. Oh, and they even before they get into the Zords, they fight the hand-to-hand combat with the putties, which said god awful designs. The fights are not much either. This looks lame anyway. So the hand-to-hand combat fight with the putties were lame, and the fights are not much when they fight against Goldar either. And they get overpowered, and they find the pit. They open the pit where the Zeo crystal is, and they're getting overwhelmed. They're getting their asses kicked, and they stand in front of the pit, to guard it, and they're getting pushed in, and they all fall in, right? So they're ready to die together, and they all fall in, and all of a sudden, just like that, they form the Megazord. So once again, I hate keeping because this is what they missed. Nothing. Everything. Except for the name and the character names. Watch this again. To show how the way the Megazord is formed was cool looking. How they start coming together. Megazord equinacting. How the way the voice saying was like the form Megazord is being formed. It says Megazord activated, and just how the way the Zord is presenting itself, and it was cool. And And I still, in the other, in another room, I got the Megazord, the toys, the built, I got the Megazord, I got the Dragonzord, and I got them, Titanus. I got them. I have them sitting in another room where they're sitting on a desk in Ultrazord form. I got the figures of the Megazord and the Dragonzord and Titanus, and I have them sitting in the room when they're in the Ultrazord form. But the way they just get the Megazord gets formed, they all just fall in the pit, and all of a sudden it comes out rising as the Megazord. And I'm sure a lot of people will say the same thing. The Megazord looks like another Transformers ripoff, looking sort of like a shitty version of Optimus Prime. And and the first thing they do when they want to start fighting Goldar as a Megazord, because they trip and fall, they fall over and land flat on their faces. Because apparently, instead of like usually in the in the show when they're in the Megazord, they're all in one big compartment together at the controls. No, instead each individual Ranger is controlling a limb. Like the pink and yellow Ranger, they control the arms, and the blue and black Ranger, they control the legs, and then Red Ranger like controls like the middle of it. But no, they're not in one same spot at once. They control, each one is separated, controlling the limbs. And they just fall over and they fall flat on their face. I'm trying to keep my, when I'm watching this, and being a big fan of the show, as I'm watching this, they feel like trip over, they make it fall over like dumbasses. It just makes me want to lose my shit. That's what it is. It's making me want to lose it. I'm trying my best not to. I'm trying my best to get a grip on myself. Otherwise, I'll just start tearing shit up my room again. I'm like this. Seems like the jokes and the humor like this is just literally just. It's destroying what I loved watching growing up. It's not supposed to be a serious superhero film. It's supposed to be a fun, campy fun. Yeah, even people still say cheesy. I'll even add that, like these. Especially this film has some good things going for it. But anyway, yeah, it's a lame fight when the Megazord form with Zordon. They do like a slow left to right hooks, and even Goldar gets his sword, and Rita kind of like merges with the Goldar, and they grab and they do like a backflip, like a backflip, and they get their sword, like the Megazord has like two swords, and just like they just stab into it. That's it. They destroy Goldar, and Rita, they ask her to surrender and take her to Zordon. It's just like never. And she starts going at them, and then they literally just bitch slap her into space. That's not in the baddest way to get rid of her. They just go like basically a bitch slap to her right into space. So, and that's when the citizens come out, and that's where you get your cameo appearance. Another good positive thing I like about it is we get cameo appearance from Jason David Frank, who played Tommy, and Amy Jo Johnson, who played Kimberly. I was like, cool. It was nice to see them in this. They're like all the citizens are all taking pictures with their phones, and happy that they saved the town, Angel Grove. Yeah, it was nice to see them both, but they still don't save the film though. It was cool to see them, but they don't save the film. And also one thing I forgot to mention: for the whole time during the whole fights, they have their visors off. They show their face. I'm not gonna say about that. So yeah. Guess not bothered to like being exposed by the people who's seeing who they are. Even though it's like, oh, they can't see us. Yeah, if they have their phones, they kind of like zoom in. You don't have to worry about that though. Stupid idea. It's just like hide their face. Like keep your identity a secret. Yeah, your visors off, showing off. Whatever. I'm not going to get into it. Whatever. This film just fried my brain as enough as it is. So now the Power Rangers, and Jason talking with Bryan Cranston briefly, and Then it shows them back at school, and then during the mid-credits, you hear the detention teacher saying, Tommy Oliver, and it shows an empty desk with the green jacket there. Tommy Oliver. So, God. I'm just sitting here rocking like this because I'm like, what did I just watch? What did I just went through? Too much character development. Very slow pacing. Definitely a slow pacing. An hour and 30 minutes with no Power Rangers for almost a 2-hour film until the last 20 minutes. Out of all the Rangers that I probably thought was more likable was the guy who played Billy, R.J. Cyler. To me, he was like the most likable out of all of them. I didn't care about the rest of them. You know, it's like once again, it's like like they're in detention. These 5 rejects basically. They're like simply like the Breakfast Club. You know, with you have the jock and you have the nerd and the whatever type of the girls were in the Breakfast Club, and it's basically it's a teen drama version, Power Ranger version of the Breakfast Club, basically. Tries to take itself so serious, just completely forgot how Power Rangers film TV show was. Even for the film was the same way. It's supposed to be like over the top and fun for the kids to watch, and campy lines and the slapstick between Bulk, especially Bulk and Skull, and just the fun campy fights between Rita's monsters or even Lord Zed's and like those ones. Just with them fighting with like my favorite one, the Slippery Shark, or Grumblebee, or the Drummel Monster, the Sphinx, Goofish, Rhino Blaster, Peckster, the Nasty Knight, the Two-Headed Parrot, Sacadillo, Eye Guy, or from season 2, Piranha's Head, the Salamandra, or Bloom of Doom, Robo Goat. Snizzard, that's another one. And speaking with that, I probably mentioned this before. Snizzard, from the first season of this, when the Snizzard first appeared, the voice of Snizzard was actually voiced by Bryan Cranston. Really enough, the voice of the Snizzard in the episode Foul Play in the Sky, the episode where Kimberly was flying the plane, they messed with it, and the Snizzard was fighting the Rangers, the voice, that's Bryan Cranston. It's like, by the time when the Kimberly showed up to the rescue, it's like, the Snizzard, tonsil snakes, attack them! Ah! Curse you with our power bow! That's Bryan Cranston. And even voiced the other monster, the Twin Man. That made like replica. That was like they made putties like duplicates of the Rangers, and the Twin Man was posing as the Red Ranger, and they destroyed it with their power blaster. That was also voiced by Bryan Cranston. So yeah, maybe they picked Bryan Cranston because he did some experience years before, voicing 2 monsters, which I mostly remember from the Snizzard though. Yeah, so anyone remembers the episode Foul Play in the Sky, the voice of Snizzard, that's Bryan Cranston. But yeah, all these other monsters to me like are memorable. Men in suits. Yeah, people over the criticize, they're just people who says CGI. I would rather pick the practical, good-looking, cool design of the monster suits over this CGI bullcrap. Yeah. For $100 million, they probably went to the Zords and the putties and Goldar, especially for all the effects and stuff like that. The putties, their putties were just putties, humanoid looking with gray spandex and the putty face. Here there's just this big pile of rocks. That's what they are. It's this horrible design. Golder was even more horrible. Just a big gold liquid shit. That's what it was. Gold liquid shit. And Elizabeth Banks was absolutely horrible as Rita Repulsa. Absolutely horrible. And this humor, like such the Krispy Kreme. The proclamation of Krispy Kreme was silly. And seeing actually Rita eating a donut at Krispy Kreme. Man. This is definitely one of the worst films I've seen. It's in my top 3, and I'd probably say this is probably worse than Wonder Woman because this, to me, in retrospect, I grew up with Power Rangers. I grew up with the show. Was a huge fan of the original show. I loved it as a kid. And seeing like this being, to me, they butchered up. They butchered what Power Rangers should have been. They pretty much sucked all the fun out of how the original show was, trying to be like a serious superhero film, and slash Breakfast Club drama. Okay, what I liked. Okay, there are the few things I liked. Bryan Cranston, even though kind of made Zord a bit of an asshole, but still overall I like Bryan Cranston's performance. I like him as an actor. He was good. So performance wise, out of all the Rangers, like I said, the most likable to me was the guy who played Billy, R.J. Cyler. He was the most likable out of all of them. When they play the Power Rangers thing with the Zords are going when they get in their Zords. They use this song from the 1995 film that brought a smile to my face. But at the same time, I rather watch the 95 film, which I would say this film was fun to me as a childhood film for me. I rather say this 95 film was much more fun than this film. I'll even say that. Turbo, that is kind of hard to say. Is this worse than Turbo or is it the other way around? Probably for the difference between this and Turbo. In Turbo, there were still more practical uses, and the Zords and the monster, like Malagar, it was still men in suits, basically. Still, it was, even though the fight was not the best or not even good, but it still was like men in suits and all that. I still take that over usage of CGI. But, and plus and even more stuff. They don't add in Bulk and Skull because they don't add them in because they're goofy, over the top characters. So they won't bother putting those in the film because it'll throw off their tone. They're trying with other humor stuff, but in the serious superhero film, but it's not even working. It falls flat on its face. Just like all of a sudden they morph into the Megazord just by falling into the pit and not even combining together. They just form accidentally because they've been pushed into the pit. And then when they try to fight it, the first thing they do, they get messed up and they fall. They trip over, they fall over because they can't get the legs to move right. And then you get your cameo appearances by Jason David Frank and then Amy Jo Johnson. And to me, Amy Jo Johnson, Jason Frank cameo appearances, the song from the 95 film, and R.J. Cyler and Bryan Cranston. That's it. That's one of the things I liked about the film. It's almost 2 hours. Well, this is an hour and 21 minutes, but without the end credits, it's under 2 hours. And it was very slow, and an hour and a half with no Rangers. Too much character development because it's supposed to be an origin story, which I never cared about anyway. So yeah, and how the way they morph is lame. And Rita, instead of killing all the Rangers when they have them tied up, she just lets them go like an idiot. She had her chance to kill the 5 heroes that will prevent her from winning, but like an idiot, she lets them go. I don't know why. I don't know why she would kill Tree in the first place when she first talked to her, or all the other ones when they had him tied up. But no, this film to me deserves a bomb. They should not expand this any more of this, otherwise it's gonna mess up what was great about the original show in the first place. This film did enough damage. It shot itself in the foot. It was a hit and miss. Especially the screenplay by John Gaddens from Leprechaun 3, who acted in it. I still can't believe this guy who helped do the screenplay is the same guy who acted in Leprechaun 3. I still can't believe that. God. The screenplay was another huge issue. It was just all over the place. It's just a god-awful tragedy. The film, and the reason why the film flopped because Beauty and the Beast was making a huge amount of money at the time. So that's another probably reason why it underperformed. But PG-13, what the director said, is the reason why the film underperformed. That's part of the reason because PG-13 for a superhero film, when you compare it to over-top, fun campiness of the show, that made it fun for kids. It's a kids show. It's not supposed to be for today's age, and try to do what the DC and the Marvel films today. Even though kids enjoy those films, but still. And now I'm an hour into this film, but into this review. I didn't want to go an hour into this film, but I had to just. It's just so upsetting to me as a fan. I grew up with the show, loving the show. Just hear this film. They just butchered this whole thing up. Yeah, first great blockbuster of the year. My ass. This film can kiss my ass. Just. I don't want to see any more of this bull crap again. I just hope they don't make any more sequels because. This film is another one of the huge box office flops of this year. So yeah, I'm done. I don't want to talk about it anymore. This film just butchered up one of my childhood shows as it is. I don't want to see any more of this. So I hope you enjoyed this long rant of this film, but I just had to let this all out. I would say it's definitely one of the worst films I've seen this year. It's in my top 3, and I probably still say it is worse than. I've already said it's worse than Wonder Woman, I would say, but besides, I got too much as it is, but still. Screw this film. Power Rangers. Just. That's more, I can sum it up. Cut this franchise off now. But anyway, thanks for watching. I'll stick back to watching the show and the 95 film to still get fun and enjoyment from it. But thanks for watching. Stay tuned on the next movie review. Later.